Hi, I'm Virginia.
And I'm Nanette. Welcome to the Lively Office.
The Lively Office is where we help managers and businesses create raving fan employees.
And why raving fan employees? Because they create raving fan customers. Cha-ching.
And today's episode, we are going to talk about games gone wrong and the pain points involved in that.
So games gone wrong. So that means the office games and the games that, like, it's what we do, what the managers do at work to make everybody happy, right? And that's the idea behind it.
Like your office parties, right?
Your office parties, right? Well, those are rough sometimes.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of rough celebrations, and like the intent of these things are usually, to have employee engagement, right? Let's have employee engagement, get people to get to know each other, maybe not take work so serious. So like the idea and the intent, good idea. It's a great
But not
concept.
always. I've had managers that literally just check off a box.
Okay, and that's when they're not genuine, it's funky.
And what makes it even worse, I think.
Agreed. Because then you've got the situation where it's mandatory and not mandatory. And then the obligation is the struggle, because it's like, if I don't go, then I'm going to be labeled that person, but I don't really want to go. Those are things that office parties can create a struggle with that.
Right. I think the manager really needs to be like you said, focus on what the goal is, and then go from there. And like, it has to be sincere.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of times when, office parties, let's think about it. There's different kinds of office parties. We've got ones that are like maybe a celebration, someone's birthday, an anniversary, birth of a child, but then we also have the holiday version ones, and we have the ones that are recognition, or our recognition for different kinds of events. So it's like, I guess at that point you have to, what's the intent of the event? Is it for the individual? Is it for the group? So
or is it try to make them more friendly toward each other?
Right. And it's like in general, how do you feel about them in general?
I feel like
I like them because I love being around people and not working.
Right. Yeah, everybody likes to not work. But I think there's sometimes where, because the environment is so weird and awkward and not genuine, that people are deterred from them. Like, they don't want to go. Like, I don't want to go to this place because it makes me feel more uncomfortable than I did before.
They can be like that, but I've gone to some that are like really good. I mean, I've been invited to, like to be the plus one to somebody else's, like, say, holiday parties, their Christmas party, where I'm like, wow, I wish my company did this. This is great.
Right, it costs
good
money.
Food. Yeah. Good food, fun place, music, and it's totally social. And then you've got the, the camera booth, and like, having a overall good time, giving away, different like raffles. And I like that. I have to be honest with you. I think that it's like, say, a celebration of some widely observed thing. I think those usually kind of turn out good. I have been to one where it was almost inappropriate because it was like ugly sweaters gone wrong, where okay.
Not everybody's into ugly sweaters, and that's what you have to think of.
Well, it was a theme though. I mean, so it's like, you're going to either participate or you're not going to participate.
Yeah, but I still think in a business environment, not everybody's themed not everybody's theme minded. You have a big array of people.
Right. Well, you didn't have to participate. I mean,
no, but if I'm the awkward person in the corner that doesn't have it on.
It was a good percentage that did and didn't.
Yeah, but how do you think those people felt?
Fine. They dressed pretty instead.
Oh, okay. So then that was okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was a thing. I really don't. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't a thing. What was a thing was not clarifying, like, how, like having some kind of maybe rules involved in it. Ugly Christmas sweater, but not inappropriate. Like, they'll be vulgar, because there were like two instances where like super vulgar, and it made people uncomfortable because they had like the awkward laughter and like, oh my God, I can't believe you're wearing that. Like, just, across the line. And like, maybe that's who that person was, and they were totally okay with it. They were totally okay offending people. In fact, they loved it, but I don't know if that's going to give them like that promotion next year. I'm remembering like how, like, man, I didn't know this about you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, hopefully they promote on merit, but still, if maybe you're not going to put you near my customers, so I don't want you to talk like that or accidentally slip. There's, who knows? There's all kinds of things that we think of, like, Humans were vain, we are vain. We have to accept it, because if you're willing to be that inappropriate in a crowd of like over 100 people, and
Well, you're also
and
attention. You want attention.
you want it,
obviously.
yeah, you definitely want attention, and you're definitely looking for you're
Shock
looking
factor.
for a shock factor, and you're enjoying it. And then like you started to drink too much, and it was really like you're still in a work function, like it's a after work function, but like head honchos were there, people you don't see every day, people that you're going to do a first impression with. So that's why I think it was okay where people were fine with like the ugly, like I think it was fun to have a theme. So that way you have, a way to, the decor and all that jazz. And it really was a 50-50 situation. The ones who didn't participate, they just dressed nicely. There's a few people who look like, they weren't dressed the greatest, but I think, who knows the reasons behind that, but still no one made anyone feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
So in that particular situation, if other than a couple of, key points where individuals went too far, I think that situation went well. But I
So
think
it wasn't like that movie Office Christmas Party.
no,
Like,
I mean,
that was extreme.
like I want to work for that company.
No, that's terrible.
No,
I mean, it's a bad thing to drink. If you can't control your drinking, you shouldn't be drinking at an office party.
Okay.
All right. And
Yeah.
that's like that movie is like the perfect example of going to the extreme.
That's true.
And never being looked at the same again.
Oh, that's very true. Very true. I mean, I in that particular movie, like I want to do like the ice sliding thing. I'm like, let me jump on my belly and like slide across that. That would be
But I don't think even they did it was sober.
Okay, well, that's fine, true. But I would do it sober.
I know we would, but that's my point.
That's
like I think you need to be in the right mindset.
That's true. And one of the things that I think of is that there is like events, like companies will do sponsored events to try to promote like a career awareness. And in those kinds of events, they'll usually have a social as well. And that's the intent behind that, is usually for networking. Right. So, I mean, if you're in a company social and you know that the social is for networking, the socials for networking, you got to be careful that you don't drink too much there, even if they're offering alcohol.
Right, yeah.
Because what kind of first impression are you going there? You know that the intent behind that particular event versus the Christmas party was employee engagement, a way to like get along with each other, get to know each other. Yeah, there's networking there, but it was more like an unwinding, a celebration of the year's success.
And also getting to know people on a more personal level, so you're more able to work with it, because if you know personal things about people, you're more likely to forgive them in those conflicts and situations, and more likely to like to build those relationships. Right.
So the Christmas party is like that type of situation. Right. Developmental conference, trying to improve your career, and if they have the social, recognize what that is. The intent behind that is to try to find key players in your organization to move up, to take roles on, to take on new roles so other people can promote and move in the company, grow your organization. So like, you got to be careful, games gone wrong in that, like, don't have so much alcohol at that event. Maybe don't do open bar, maybe be careful with the music choices at the social, because you can offend people in that way. You have to be careful, because that's more of a work function, in that environment. So I guess it's just kind of like when you have these games, like our topic here, games gone wrong, that kind of stemmed from a story where some employees were given a choice to actually like attend this like office football game, and they were all remote employees and they were inconvenienced. They all had to drive into this very far event, but if you did it and like waste your gas money, you either went, and it was like if you didn't go, then you had to stay working, like you didn't have a choice. Right. You know what I mean? To just, and like I don't know how I feel about that. Is it at the offices situation, I'm like, okay, I can understand it, but it's like a football game. Like I personally hate football.
You hate football?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I like college football, but I think the only reason I like college football is just because I like the idea of young people expressing themselves. Like NFL, I'm not interested. I know, don't hate me. She's like giving me a side eye hard right now, guys.
Like, think about it, because even if you don't like the game, go to people watch, man. That's the best part.
Well, I do like people watching, but in that situation, it was like, okay, you're forced to go to this event that you're not, there's no interest. And like, you're
Right.
not going to really be able to people watch because you're not freaking alone, and you're not alone. And it's like, are you kidding me that you're not alone? And you're not getting to talk to people because you're just watching this game, and it's going to be with others as well. Because I think it was some kind of community football game. So you have a choice. Okay, I can either work
or drive somewhere
that I don't want to be. And it just,
it doesn't feel like a reward.
What was the intent behind that? I guess that's the ultimate thing. What was the intent? Was this event an employee engagement event? Was it supportive because maybe there were people playing in the game that were part employees? I don't know. You have this huge remote workforce, so I don't think it was that. I don't understand the purpose of that. So like, to me, that was like a failed attempt if it was trying to engage employees.
Right, because it just frustrated the employees who weren't interested.
Right.
Because it was actually an inconvenience for them to participate. If not, and then they were punished in their mind that they had to stay and work if they didn't participate and drive across all the traffic to get there.
Right. And then the gas money too.
And the gas money.
Right. Gas is expensive. Yeah. So.
Right. So I guess you're right. It's about the intent. If you're trying to make a more lively office and get people happy to be working and enjoying their workplace, it can't be your idea all the time.
Right. Right. And you have to think about that. I guess what the point is you can't force fun.
Yeah, you can't force fun.
You can't force fun because you don't know this workforce. You don't, and especially in a remote environment, it's probably difficult to get to know your employees and to know their interests. And that's something that we should all be doing. Peers need to get to know each other.
I just had a thought about what you said about in a virtual environment. I get invited to a Christmas virtual office party.
Oh, tell me.
Right. And they literally wanted us to dress in Christmas stuff and get on here. And I was like, and you had to bring your own cake. So I'm like, what? Yeah, they asked you to bring your own desserts. I'm like, I am totally turned off. First of all, I want to be there in person, or I don't want to party, right?
Fair. It's just not the same.
It's just not the same. And the fact that they thought that was the best idea, and I understand with the world that we're in, but it was kind of past that,
Okay.
And I just feel like that was the craziest solution. It made me feel so uncomfortable. I found an excuse to get out of it.
Party of one.
But do you know what I mean? Like, you want me, and then I think I might have peeked in on the meeting, and then people were dressed ridiculously, which was probably fun to them. And and as much as you want that contact with people, I guess that was what people were going for. But I was just frustrated that there was requirements for a party to bring my own food. I mean, come on, who does that?
I mean, does that even qualify as a party? I mean, I've heard.
I don't know.
I've heard.
Does
it
qualify as a party? I don't know how I feel about that.
See, and I've heard of that, and I don't feel like that is. But to me, that's just not a party. I mean, it's a good attempt because you're trying.
They're trying to make connections when they thought we couldn't. So
right. But I guess you have to. I mean, I'm glad they tried. Maybe that was a fail, but that would make me feel uncomfortable. Because I struggle with being fake. Like, I don't like I can't be fake. Like, my face would be like giving it away that this is stupid.
That's why I had to back out of it, because I felt like I don't know. And the camera was required, red and green was required, dress up festively.
Yeah, it's forcing fun.
It felt like there's so many rules on it that it automatically took it away.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like, oh, we're gonna meet and just enjoy each other and just show up and do a Zoom meeting, I think it would have been a lot less. If people showed up with colors on or whatever, then you would have been happy to see that. But the fact they were gonna, like you said, forcing it with all the rules of the party.
The rules
was like, you can't force that on people. You can't force people to participate the way you want to.
Was it mandatory or optional?
Oh, I felt like it was mandatory. I don't know that they said the word mandatory, but it felt mandatory.
Okay, so like, you knew that if you didn't go, they were going to have a list of the people who didn't go. Like, Nanette didn't join.
Like, she's so disrespectful. She didn't come to our party. Like that. Yeah,
that's rough.
Right. So it was a weird. It was a weird feeling.
Awful.
It's crazy. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Well,
and then they were having birthday, and I understand COVID happened and people were trying, but I think it's more like the forced fun and the mandatory versus optional. And you can't force people to have fun.
No, and like, you're alone. You're in in this Zoom or WebEx or, Google Meet or whatever format you
Skype or
use.
whatever,
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever format that you're using, you're in this video conference and you are in a room with yourself. So it doesn't, unless like you're going to actively engage in dialogue with every individual so that they feel part of that, that would be hard to make that like fun. It just, because there's some people, like I'll say this, my mother would never do that. Like even in like a real like face, like a life instance, she's not the kind of person who would she doesn't like to participate in anything. She is under the belief, and there's people who are like this. My older brother's that way. Work is work. Work is not here for fun. Work is work. And there's like, you have to think about those people too.
Right. Because everybody thinks differently of it.
Yeah, you have to think about that. They're like, I don't come here to like, I don't want to get to know you. And that doesn't mean they're not contributors to the office. So like, what was the intent behind that Christmas party, I guess? The virtual one.
I don't know. Yeah, because it was mandatory. That was the intent.
Right. It's like forcing. So the intent was to force fun. I mean, do you think that it was trying to build employee engagement?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. And they were probably trying to connect us because we were also separated because being remote workers at that time. That was the first time our company ever experienced that. So, they're trying to build back together. But I think the fact they put so many rules on it, and another thing too is get people's input, because when one person makes a decision for everybody in a group, and it's their show, like,
right.
Oh, it's the so-and-so show,
right.
Not everybody wants to participate in so-and-so show.
Exactly. Well, you know what? That brings like transition to the different types. So in both the events, like we talked about the Christmas party, virtual versus the real life one, and at the football game, that was like that was not like isolated event. It was like for the group. Let's like talk about like the celebration of the individual, like having a birthday party. I I have a story where I was new to a unit and I didn't really know everyone, but I realized really quickly that there was some serious office politics. And it started with a birthday party of a person in a different department. So, and it was like 2 days in a row. So the first day, they're like this person's birthday and they got this cake from this like famous place and everyone's a big deal and everyone's like, oh, come and they gathered the entire floor. There was like 3 different departments there and everybody went to celebrate this person's birthday, right? And the way it's like, I don't know this person, didn't know their name. And I kind of didn't want to go because I didn't know people. I was new there. I was like, let me just work. I feel kind of uncomfortable. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to have that awkward silence. Like, who am I going to talk to? And then it's like the person who did this didn't think it through, because where you have the cake was this corner office that could probably fit 12 people and you just invited 40. So we're like standing really uncomfortably, kind of like an assembly line waiting for cake, because supposedly it's like the greatest cake on earth. And you're like passing cake on to from people. And it's like 17 people touched your cake somehow. Like, you don't know if
this is pre-COVID, right?
Yeah. So it's like, it's like a bunch of thumb marks. You're like, how did it, what if someone sneezed? Like, I don't know. And like this cake passing a ritual. And it was so absolutely uncomfortable that I break out and it's insane laughter. Like, I've lost my mind and no one has an idea like why I'm losing my mind. And again, like, I love movies. Okay. I love movies. So I like flash back to this movie Office Space, which there's a scene where it's like celebrating the boss's birthday. So they're chopping up the cake and they're handing it over. And it's just so visually uncomfortable, visually awkward. And I was experiencing that live. So I'm like this, and it was, I guess in truth, this was my first real like office type job where I worked with others who were all in the office. Like, it's all my previous jobs had like a mix of like maybe processing, or it was
or
like
customer
customer
contacts.
contacts. It wasn't just one thing. This was like everybody here sits behind a desk,
Like Office Space,
like
in
the
little
movie
cubicles.
Office Space. Like, yes, it was like really fully like that. And I was like, this is so uncomfortable because this is my first experience and I'm like living this movie. So I'm laughing like an absolute idiot. I can't explain why I'm laughing. I'm getting dirty looks. I'm getting awkward looks. People are judging me. I mean, that put me in such a confusing situation. So I get back to the story. Following day, somebody else is having a birthday again. I'm like, I don't know if I can do round two. Like, I'm just really, I can't do round two. I don't know if I want to. Why are we doing this? Well, this is the part where it was ugly. Everyone went to the one person on day one. On day two, there was like literally this like inner battle between this one department and this other department, specifically related to the next person's birthday. And it was like, we're not going. And then there was that one person who was kind of like the leader of the group of that department. So like, we're not going, and don't go, and take a stand, with us, and like to prove a point that their birth shouldn't have happened. It's like, what were you proving? Why are you? I mean, I don't understand that. Opposing department celebrated with the other department's birthday, but now it's like one of the guys in your team, we hate you. And what a great way to like completely stop employee engagement. What were you going to do at that point?
So are these managers in each department making these decisions, or was it like all employee generated?
Well, it was like there was one manager over the 4 or 5 departments. So I don't even know if they like recognized it because they were so excited about the back-to-back cake. Like, I love this cake. And so like the manager was just like, woo, cake. And then like the leads were kind of like pushing their people into like to go, except for on day 2 when it was like this department.
And the leads had conflict.
Because we're celebrating this one department, and there's conflict between individuals, and it didn't make any sense. So that to me, I'm like, maybe in that manager's mind, it was a successful employee engagement, but me, I was new. Remember, I'm new to this section.
Right.
So like now I just learned about some office politics through the individual celebration. I'm like, okay, we hate this person, or I mean, like, where's the problem here? And then it starts the office gossip, because now I have to know, right? Is it the person? Are they the devil, or is it the whole department? What happened?
That's interesting.
Is it the interaction between this group and this group as a whole? Who are we punishing here? With the like not going to get cake? So of course I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom. Yeah, right. I took a long way around and got cake because I'm like, I just did it to the person like the day before. I don't want this person. I'm new. I need all my friends. I need people to like me. You know what I mean? So
you're like literally dipping out of your department's politics to go to the back door to the other one, just so you can stay in the know with everybody.
Right, because I don't want to be on the outs. Like, I feel
the things you don't. That wasn't in the job description, was it?
And I was like treading on this dangerous ground.
Right.
Like, whoever got that nervous to just like go and participate, because it's not me, it's just not who I am. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not who I am. And then I felt like so conflicted because I did things that were not who I am. And like here the whole time, it's like the main manager is thinking, I have success. My team is so amazing. They all love each other. I'm like, no, ma'am, they don't.
There's a lot of managers out there that are really clueless. And then there's those people that you trust under you that are sub managers or under managers. That's such a big deal. You control so much of people's lives because you think about how much you're at work.
Right.
And why do you want to be miserable at work, worrying about, like, that is so trivial probably to what your job was. It's worrying about whose birthday party to go to.
Yeah. I mean, who knew I'd have to do that? I was like, oh my God, I'm in 8th grade. I mean, like 8-year-old again, not 8th grade. If that happens in 8th grade, oh my God, you're too old for that. An 8-year-old.
No, that's like middle school. Like that is middle school. That's what middle schoolers do, and high schoolers. It's like high school stuff, like they say.
I guess so.
Mean Girl stuff, almost.
I've got to watch that movie.
You ever seen Mean Girls?
Nope.
Oh, you like movies?
I know I haven't. Because I don't want the title.
That's exactly what you experienced.
Okay, I'm like,
we don't like her, so we don't go to her birthday party. That's Mean Girls.
Okay, well, I figured.
I don't know if exactly that they say that, but still.
The fun part of though, like in that situation, was like stepping, like not being so involved in anybody in particular, like being such kind of an outsider, and the timing of that was watching like later in that week, the manager thinking it was such a success and really having no idea about the environment of their employees. Like you really don't know what's going on in your group.
Why do you think she was so clueless?
Well, that she was encircled with like people who were just like the rear end kissers, you know?
Okay.
So like, just if you're just telling them how amazing they are.
So the
it's all there.
confirmers, like we talked about one day.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so good.
You're right.
Oh my God, you hear about it so much. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, did that happen? And what am I going to do? Be like, hi, ma'am, I want you to know as a new person here, you have a big problem because two departments that require to be working well together hate each other. They didn't celebrate a birthday. I mean, what were you going to do? Could you imagine how stupid that complaint is? So
that is a stupid complaint.
We're like, hi, mommy, so-and-so didn't eat my cake. You know, it was weird. And I felt like I was in a movie. I mean, it was, I don't know. It's like, that's definitely a office party gone wrong, you know, because right there, the impression that it made on me as a new employee, it was like super south. Then I'm worried, what else? You know,
only the next birthday party.
Right. Like, what about the other departments? You know, and I'm like terrified of it. What if I talk to the wrong person? What if I go in the elevator with the wrong person and I say hi? And now all of a sudden, did you know Virginia likes so-and-so? And like, now I'm in the out.
She ate her cake.
Right? And how ridiculous that I was like, hi, I have to go. I mean, I went into a door that I never go in. At one point I was like, who sees the badge entry to this door? Like I got so paranoid someone's going to check the list and know that I went in through this other door. I was like freaking out. And I thank God for being 5'2", because like the cubicle things in the middle, you couldn't see me. So I was kind of like, let's walk on our flats, and that's not wear heels. Like I kicked off my heels just so I wouldn't stand over the cubicle. I mean, I went like, there's levels. I took off my shoes, put on flats, faked the bathroom, you know. I mean, they probably wondered what's she doing? She dying there?
Yeah, and now I'm going back through all my like past history of 25 years in management, thinking, oh my God, I don't feel like I have any bad parties. So am I that manager?
Yeah, I doubt it.
I'm like, oh my God, were my people miserable and like hiding for birthday parties and I didn't know it? Because I always felt like, though, that I tried to go to the person and ask what they wanted, you know, because I think it's important. Like, it's not what you want for their birthday, it's what they want. And some people don't like to be recognized. Some people don't like the big hoopla.
Oh, right.
Some people, they want it all. Give me the whole pomp and circumstance. Give me the crown and everything else.
That's true.
You know, so you have to kind of, if you're going to do something personal for somebody like that, you know, either say standard and that's just what they accept it, or like give them what they want, you know, especially if you're going to honor them.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And that's what, that's what it is. And then it was, it was difficult. It was funny. I mean, I'm glad it happened, or we wouldn't have this great story to share. But yeah, I wonder about that. Now, the instances where I've done events for my employees were maybe not so like holiday oriented or just generic, like a generic engagement. And I had an event once that I did an appreciation week where
appreciation week. Wow.
I did appreciation week. And then I tried, because it's such a volume. It was like over 100 employees, and you can't please everyone. Like that's key number one. You can't please everyone. So each day I did different things to try to capture things of interest for everyone.
Right.
So like some people were into the games, so I did some games. We did a dress up contest on one day. Some people were into that. So other people, it was just the meals. Like, okay, I cooked for you, so like we did this meal. So it was kind of fun because every day I did something for appreciation, and I did it themed. I did it like pirate themed. So because in the Florida area where we're located, it's we have a whole love of pirates here. So Gasparilla and all that. So, it seemed appropriate.
Right.
And I think that I captured a lot of a lot of employees that way. Even like that group that, for some reason, nobody else likes them. I even saw participation in them because I did try to go around and actually gather some information
Right.
about things. Like even the pirate theme was from an idea from somebody that who felt like their voice was never heard. I could tell that that's like over the previous experiences and times talking to this individual, they felt that their voice was never heard. So that person kind of, birthed the idea by something that they said about the pirates. And then I was like, well, I wonder if I could do this. And just going back to them and just saying, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? And the fact they're like, oh, I like it, do it. And then because I did do it, they felt like they were part of this group that they had not been part of for like, I think 18 years. So that's like
Right.
a long time for not feeling, like you're heard. So it turned out to be a pretty good event. And I get it, guys. I mean, don't go out there saying, I am not going to subscribe to the membership of Lively Office because they want me to have 1 week parties. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is something I did. And in that particular situation, I did have an intent to try to have employee appreciation because I was going into a very volatile office, and where the situation was, it was almost a hostile environment. So, my mindset is that you had to break the pattern and do something drastic and take a drastic measure. And the drastic measure was like, I will humiliate myself and I will act like an absolute clown. And I dressed like a pirate and I did crazy things and I talked like a pirate, and they don't know me. I'm new manager and they think I'm crazy. And I was okay with it because it was like, wow, she's willing to put herself out there and be like the talk of the town and humiliate herself. Maybe I can trust her. And I was trying to build trust.
Oh, I literally dressed like a clown one time. Have you ever heard that story?
Oh no, you got to tell me this. It's got to be good.
Well, it was the most stressful.
P.S. I hate clowns because they terrify me.
Well, it was the most stressful day of the year for our particular office. And it was the one that everybody dreaded. It was the worst day ever. It was a customer day and it was the most horrible day. So I was trying to figure out what can I do to make it lighter. And I even went to my employees like, what's a circus? You're not going to make it better. So circus hit my head. I'm like, oh, circus. So we literally created a circus for the customers, and I dressed like a clown. I didn't force anybody to dress like him, but I asked them, I'm going to rent me a clown costume. Would you like something? And all of us dressed up. We had jugglers. We had refreshments in there. We did the whole 9 yards, and like, so when you said made a fool of yourself, like I literally dressed like a clown.
Yeah.
And my employees and the community loved it because it was the most stressful day for everybody that time because there was so much traffic. Nobody could get what they wanted. And it just made the day so light because it was so ridiculous. I mean, like it's over the top ridiculous. So I think when you said clown, it just triggered that memory because I forgot I had done that. So that could have gone really wrong.
That could have gone wrong, but it sounds like it was a hit, not only with your employees and your managers, but the customers too.
Right, it was because we were willing to put ourselves out there. And I think sometimes we're not willing to take those risks.
Right.
And because I participated and didn't force them to participate and I didn't force the fun, and they came up with the ideas and they found people that could juggle. They had people in the community that did things. So, I think we had face painting out front.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So it was like whatever we could come up with, and it made it a big event, something that was so stressful that we all dreaded. Now we loved it. So,
that's like that's what we want. So
right.
Like we want your events. I mean, you're doing events and you're trying to engage your employees and you're trying to, build a team and build, this unity or this, I like to say tribe, because my idea behind, and this is not my idea, from reading several books throughout your life, your development. Yeah. It's your development. There's this concept about being a tribe and the difference between a team. Like a team is where a place you go into the team, you're there, you play, and then you leave. So, I mean, yeah, teams are good. Don't say that they're not good. They're good, but some units, maybe you can build a tribe. And then because a tribe, it's like you care about the person even when they're not there. Think about that. So we're in a tribe, and Nanette and I are definitely a tribe. And Nanette may be like our chef. Okay. But Nanette goes down. Guess what? I'm going to learn how to flip a burger because I'm in a tribe and I genuinely care about this rest of the people that it impacts. So you may have an environment that's like that you care about each other and you pick up where the other one left off. That, to me, that's the goal. That's the goal of having a lively office. Go into work and feel that you can trust your people, trust the people around you, go in there, love what you do, be happy with what you do, you make a positive impact. And it's a great idea to celebrate those things. Celebrate them, celebrate your employees, celebrate each other. It doesn't even have to be a company thing. I was invited to an event that was, one of our coworkers, our peers, just happened to have this insane farm, and like they just threw a party, and it was just so great, and it was still work because it was all the work people, but we just had a good time. We got to know each other on a personal level where you like can relate to them. And that's all part of, building a lively office. So I guess if you're a supervisor, manager, employee, if there's things that you can control and do that, do these events, celebrate your milestones, celebrate them, but celebrate them with the right intent. Like, don't do it where it feels forced. Don't
check off a box.
Don't check off a box.
And don't be cheap. Oh my gosh. Don't be cheap.
Don't be cheap.
There's nothing worse than when you go to a party and they got like crack saltines and like lemonade. And that's all there is.
And you're there for 8 hours.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, not only have you inconvenienced me, but I couldn't bring my lunch because you didn't have a refrigerator. So now I have to spend money. Right. It's true. Though, don't be cheap.
Because you've been to those places where you look like they got it from Goodwill. I mean, like from like the, what do you call it? The pantry before they came, what is it? The food pantry, what I'm talking about? Like the scratch and dent store. I've been to those parties before. You're like, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Have you ever done that?
No, it's awful. Yeah. It's awful. I've been graced not to have that bad of an experience.
Oh yeah. And then I guess when you're gonna go, you got to go all in, and you got to be sincere.
Yes.
And I don't mean all in by spilling $10,000s, but make it appear like you're trying.
Right. And there's things that you can avoid, like some quick wins to like have these, events or these games or these things that you're going to do. Quick wins, get the employee input, see what they, what they're interested in, what would they like. You never know. They may volunteer. They may be related to someone who can bring things in for free, to just take it up that one notch. It's what else, something else you can, like a quick one you can think of.
It's not what you like. Right. It's not your party. If you're a manager and you're trying, even if you're an employee and you're organizing it, it's not your show. It's a show of your team, your tribe. It's a show for your employees. You
mean I can't have total unicorns only party? Dang it.
No, I don't think you should.
Okay.
So. And you boss everybody around and tell them what to do. No. Right.
Exactly.
You're not the queen and princess of the unicorn party.
Dang it.
No, that's your birthday.
Right. Right. So yeah, that's a good thing. It's not what you like, and when you're doing these events, something else, another quick win that you can think of to avoid a catastrophe is just remember that you can't please everyone. Like, focus on your vision. What was the intent of the event? Is the event, career development? Then make sure it's professional. If the event is celebrating an individual, then make sure that they want it to begin with, that they're going to be accepting of it, and then do it, with some taste, do it with some class, and don't let it go overboard. If it's some kind of holiday type event, just keep these things in mind. Focus on your mission. Like, my mission is employee engagement, and make sure that's what you're getting out of it, but by not enforcing a bunch of rules or mandates or things that are going to make individuals feel uncomfortable.
So I guess what we're saying in our wrap up is keep it professional, keep your vision in mind, and also keep in mind that when you're making change, anytime you're making change for employee engagement and trying to build that tribe, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time to build that trust, time to build those relationships. And the more relationships that you build and the deeper that they are, the more fun and more lively those events are going to be.
Absolutely. That's a great point. It's not going to happen, just like losing weight. I've been eating them Oreos for a long time.
It's gonna take you a long time not eating those Oreos.
I'm not going to get skinty overnight. So share your stories with us. We want to hear about any games gone wrong or, games gone right. Share it with us with hashtag games gone wrong on ROG. That's a new word for frog. Games gone wrong. Hashtag games gone wrong on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
On at the Lively office.
Yes. So we like to end our talks and our episodes with something that we are grateful for. And should I toss it to you again?
No, you're not going to toss it to me this time. You start first this time.
Okay. So what am I grateful for? Okay. So right now we're Floridians, so I'm going to do shout out to Publix. I'm grateful for your buy one, get one free white fudge flips. Because filming these episodes and recording these episodes, we kind of get nervous behind the scenes, and flips make it happen.
And for those of you who don't know what a flip is, which I just learned tonight, it's a pretzel covered in white chocolate. It sounds so much better when she says flip because it's literally sugar.
Right. So I'm grateful for buy one, get one on the white chocolate pretzel. Thank you, Publix.
And what am I grateful for today? I am grateful. Gosh, there's so many great things. I'm actually grateful to be living in the United States at this point with everything that's going on overseas, and grateful that we are safe and cozy in our home with our families. So that's what I'm grateful for today.
Yeah, that's true. I couldn't go that deep. I'll start crying.
Oh.
And we're trying to keep it lively, folks.
Oh yeah, keeping it lively. So keep it lively. Thank you for being here with us on this episode.
Thanks for joining. Have the best one.